Starting March 1, senior citizens are no longer required to make personal appearances in banks and other financial institutions to claim their pensions. The IATF has ordered pension issuing agencies and banks to adopt an alternative mode of identity validation for elderly pensioners. At present, senior citizens are still required to personally receive their pensions. PALA spokesperson Harry Roque says the IATF has considered the safety of the elderly from COVID-19 in approving this new policy. This as Metro Manila gears up to shift to the more relaxed MGCQ status along with the rest of the country. Recall that NCR mayors and the government's COVID-19 task force have agreed to recommend a nationwide shift to MGCQ by March. President Duterte is set to decide this proposal by Monday, but for now, Roque says the IATF has crafted a more lenient set of rules for the country's community quarantine restrictions. But if this pushes through, Roque says minors and senior citizens over the age of 65 will still be barred from leaving their homes.
Hindi pa po covered yung mga 5 to 75. In fact, ang sumang-ayon ng mga alkalde sa edad na 17 hanggang 65. No? Pero yung resolution na yon para maging uniform lang kung ano yung mga industriya bukas dahil alam natin at inaasahan natin na maging MGCQ na ang Metro Manila at ang buong Pilipinas.
The country is no longer expecting to receive vaccine supplies this month as the government remains uncertain of final arrival dates. Meanwhile, the proposed measure providing for an indemnity fund for COVID-19 shots has been certified as urgent. Maricel Halili with the details.
President Rodrigo Duterte has certified as urgent the indemnification bill. The measure states that the national government, not vaccine makers, will take responsibility should jobs have adverse effects.
It will satisfy the requirements considering that they will not be sued for that liability.
But so far, the FDA has only issued emergency use authorization. No manufacturer has been granted commercial use authorization. This means vaccine evaluation is still incomplete, so the extent of side effects is not yet definite.
Bakit naman tayo mag-aantay hanggang magkakaroon ng commercial use authorization? Nandiyan na nga po yung mga bagong variant na mas nakakahawa at mas nakakamatay.
The indemnification bill allocates a budget to compensate those who will experience adverse effects due to the inoculation.
Inapruba na ni Secretary Dominguez ay 500 million. Diyan natin kukunin po lahat ng danyos ng hihingin ng mga tao.
President Duterte also issued a memorandum order allowing local governments to make an advance payment exceeding 15% to immediately secure shots. Procurement law caps advance payment to 15%. But despite these developments, vaccine rollout may not even materialize this month. The palace has repeatedly said that China's Sinovac will arrive on February 23. It has yet to secure the FDA's EUA, a requirement before delivery.
Dahil inaantay po natin yung EUA ng Sinovac, kinakailangan po lumabas ngayong araw. Kung hindi po, baka hindi rin po makarating ng 23.
Pfizer and AstraZeneca shots via the COVAX facility have no arrival date yet. Vaccine Chief Galvez says they are still waiting for Pfizer's response to the indemnification agreement. What is definite for now is the arrival of bulk of vaccines on the second half of this year. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
The OCTA research group hints at low vaccine confidence among Filipinos. That's based on a national survey with results to be released next week. On One News' The Chiefs, Professor Ranjit Rai said the OCTA research survey conducted last December showed that around 70% of Filipinos expressed concern about vaccine safety. Rai also hinted at a, quote, world of difference when it came down to preference between China and Western-made shots. The research likewise revealed that Filipinos' compliance with health protocols is slowly deteriorating.
It paints a picture of uncertainty as far as the vaccination is concerned, or vaccines in general, both in terms of safety and efficacy. And it also paints a picture of compliance, of deteriorating compliance.
Apart from delayed vaccine arrivals and less than ideal vaccine confidence levels, the country is now grappling with another concern, and that's a shortage in the supply of low dead space syringes. But what exactly are these, and why are these crucial in the country's vaccination plan? Greg Gregorio tells us in this report.
The Philippine General Hospital is all set for the arrival of Pfizer's vaccines. It is among the first institutions to receive the U.S. drug maker's 117,000 doses. But they have one problem: the supply of low dead space syringes. These would help maximize the use of Pfizer vaccines.
All set na po except for the low dead space syringe. Yun lang pong hindi namin mahanap. Kahit saan po kami maghanap na supplier, wala po.
But what is a low dead space syringe? According to the Food and Drug Administration, air enters during liquid extraction from a vial using standard syringe. This causes bubbling. This bubble must be removed. But some liquid will also be drawn out in the process, putting it to waste. This may lead to 5 to 10% vaccine wastage.
Kasi talagang hindi mo makukuha na eksakto eh. Tapos may matatapon, may mawawala, or nandun na sa dulo ng bote ng hirap-hirap ng simutin.
A low dead space syringe diminishes that room between the needle and the plunger. FDA Director General Eric Domingos says using this for Pfizer shots increases the 5 dose to 6. The health department says the Pfizer shots from COVAX facility already come with low dead space syringes. But the DOH clarifies that a supplier of the special syringe is still needed for the millions of doses of Pfizer vaccines that we are targeting to procure outside COVAX facility.
Actually, there was this one supplier, pero yung ating nilagay na presyo ay sobrang taas naman po yun sa supplier, kaya hindi po aabot yung budget natin for that.
For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Devotees of the Black Nazarene took advantage of the increased seating capacity in churches by flocking to Quiapo Church this morning. To tell us whether this caused any problems in the implementation of minimum health protocols, we have Justine Punsalang reporting from Quiapo Church right here in Manila. Justine, what is the situation over there? Are more devotees arriving at this time?
Charles, more people have arrived here in Quiapo Church this morning as compared to the number of Catholics that came here at the same time on Ash Wednesday. And authorities are expecting more devotees to arrive as the day progresses. As early as 4 in the morning, devotees of the Black Nazarene were already filling up the Plaza Miranda while they wait for the gates of Quiapo Church to open. Since the IATF increased the maximum allowed sitting capacity of churches to 50%, up to 700 persons are given access inside the basilica. According to the Hijos del Nazarenos who are assisting in the implementation of physical distancing, 500 people are allowed to sit in pews. But the church management has already allowed standing room, which gave 200 more people entry inside. Prior to entering the Quiapo Church, the Hijos distribute contact tracing forms, which devotees are required to drop off after each Mass. There are also many church-goers that arrive this morning that the 400 seats provided on both sides of Quiapo Church are easily filled up for each Mass. The line of devotees even extend as far as Villalobos Street. Bikers and riders who want to attend the Mass but could not find a place to park their bicycles and motorcycles are given their own lane along Carriedo Street. While there is an increase in seating capacity, authorities are reminding the public that senior citizens above the age of 65, minors below the age 15, and immunocompromised persons are still not allowed to leave their homes. Case in point, one family was asked the police to leave the area as they have with them their minor daughter. And while she was wearing a face shield, she did not wear a face mask. It was only during their interaction with the police that the girl's parents gave her a face mask to wear. Despite their insistence, Plaza Miranda PCP Deputy Commander Police Lieutenant Sherwin Revilla insisted that they have to leave. However, the Hijos del Nazareno manning the entrance of Quiapo Church allowed the entry of a devotee who was on a wheelchair and was connected to an oxygen tank. The devotee's family members insisted that he is not a PWD and declined further interview. According to the Hijos, they could not ask them to leave due to humanitarian reasons. They also said that the barangay officials and the residents should be the one to stop them from leaving in the first place. Charles, in anticipation for the arrival of more devotees here in Quiapo Church, the police is currently prohibiting motorcycle parking at the Quezon Boulevard side of Plaza Miranda. The area instead is going to be used by devotees. And meanwhile, besides the local police and Hijos del Nazareno, there are also members of the Joint Task Force NCR that are helping in the area in maintaining physical distancing and maintaining peace. Charles?
Thanks for that, Justine. That was Justine Ponsalang reporting live from Quiapo Church in Manila. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Filipinos may possibly have the option to vote by mail in the 2022 national elections. The COMELEC is currently considering this move, along with other measures in attempts to boost voter registration. Mayan Los Baños with a report.
More than 73 million Filipinos will be above 18 years old by 2022, meaning they're eligible to vote in the next national elections. But of this figure, only 58 million are registered. This leaves the Commission on Elections 7 months to register 15 million voters.
So itong 15 million na to ay hindi birong numero ito. The presidency and the Senate, composition of the Senate, the composition of the House will all depend or can very well depend on if we are able to register or not more of those who are not registered.
During a Senate hearing, COMELEC says of the 4 million new voters, they are now just waiting for 1 million who have yet to sign up. The poll body says 1.3 million have already registered. Another 1.6 million are already in the voters list since they registered for the Sangguniang Kabataan elections. But there's one more problem. 7 million voters have been deactivated after failing to vote in 2 consecutive polls.
Sa deactivated na 7 million, wala ka na bang maibabalik dyan?
Conservative estimate na sa mga 3 million ang babalik to file for reactivation. And so far, ang nag-file pa lang ng reactivation from the period of January last year up to January this year, nasa mga 200,000 pa lang. So medyo malaki-laki pa ang bubunuin namin.
In order to accommodate the millions who have yet to register, Senator Kiko Pangilinan proposes to extend registration for at least a month.
Your biggest information dissemination campaign is when the candidates start filing. Because doon nga ngayon magkakaroon ng greater awareness.
Be a very, very tight schedule for us in our time. So, ang daming apektado from the configuration, from everything and so on and so forth. But then again, we will look into that.
COMELEC will discuss the matter in their next unbanked meeting, but they also seek to align the targets with the Philippine Statistics Authority in order to accommodate repatriated overseas workers. PhilPost says it's ready to address the possibility of mail-in voting, saying it expects to go fully digital by April to May this year. Senators say pilot testing of mail-in voting may be done in areas which COMELEC can closely monitor and study. Reporting for News 5, Mayan Los Baños, we are One News.
Everybody says we should practice before we go to Mars, but some people say we need to practice on the moon. Well, you could practice on the moon, but you can do it at 1/10,000th the cost in the desert in Utah.
those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.